On Spotify, a song earns nothing for its first 29 seconds. At 30 seconds, it starts to count. That is not a theory somebody has about the music industry. It is one line in Spotify's own help pages for artists. Song stream, counted when a listener plays your song for at least 30 seconds. And you already know what everybody does with that fact. Streaming put a stopwatch on pop music, the intros died, and that is why it all sounds the same now. I believe that. I wrote most of this film believing it. Then I lined the dates up and it came apart in my hands. So let me do it properly. The rule first, because the rule is real. Spotify does not pay per stream. They are blunt about that. There is no rate. There is a pot of money per country per month, and your slice of it is your share of the streams. Their formula, word for word. Your streams in that market divided by total streams in that market equals your share of that market's royalty pool. So a stream is not a payment. A stream is a ticket in a draw, and the ticket prints at 30 seconds. 29 seconds of a song is worth exactly what 30 seconds of silence is worth. This is not one company being strange. Apple's documentation for artists says the same in slightly different words. Plays are recorded when a user initiates song playback for more than 30 seconds. My favorite proof is Spotify admitting the threshold without printing it as a rule. November 2023, a policy post about people draining the royalty pool. Some bad actors, they write, are shortening whale soundtracks to 30 seconds and stacking them consecutively in a playlist without listeners noticing, so that they earn outsized payments. So Spotify wrote a counter rule. A noise track now has to run 2 minutes to earn anything. Their justification, exactly as published. Because 2 minutes of listening to noise recordings would generate one royalty-bearing stream, not 4. 2 minutes, one stream, not 4. Go and do that division yourself. Good, the line exists. Now the other half. In 2017, a music theory researcher at Ohio State called Hubert Leveillé-Gauvin pulled the Billboard year-end top 10 from 1986 to 2015. 303 songs. Then he sat with a spectrogram and measured by hand how long each one makes you wait before a human voice shows up. Mid-80s, about 23 seconds. Mid-2010s, about 5. A 78% drop. A published threshold and a measured collapse. Bolt them together and you have the video everyone has already made. Here is the calendar that ruins it. The average song on the Hot 100 was at its longest in 1992. 4 minutes, 21 seconds. It has been coming down ever since. Spotify launched in 2008. It did not open in America until July 2011. Streaming did not pass half of American recorded music revenue until 2016. And in 2011, it was 9% of the money. So songs started getting shorter roughly 16 years before Spotify existed, and 24 years before streaming was most of the business. The cause turns up 2 decades after the effect. That got tested too. A 2024 follow-up with Leveillé-Gauvin himself on it carried the measurements out to 2020 and went looking for a steeper slide under streaming. Their finding, word for word, only weak evidence was secured for a particular booster effect of the competitive Spotify ecology. And then it turned around. Billboard reported in February last year, Off Work by Hit Songs Deconstructed, that in 2024, the average top 10 song got longer by more than 20 seconds, up to 3 minutes 40. The share of top 10 hits making you wait over a minute for the chorus hit its highest in a decade, nearly 23%. Streaming's share of the money that year was about 84% and flat. The payout rule had not moved an inch. The music moved anyway, in the wrong direction for the theory. A producer quoted in that piece, Chirkut, put it plainly. People may be tiring of the quick little TikTok thing, and the most awkward data point of all. The most streamed song in Spotify's history is Blinding Lights, about 4.75 billion plays. And it opens with almost 30 seconds before anybody sings. None of this is a hot take. It is in a journal. David Hessman-Hogg, 2022, in Cultural Sociology, Open Access, anyone can read it. The very sources cited by commentators claiming that streaming services are driving shorter tracks, he writes, in fact provide evidence that the trend actually began around the turn of the century, much earlier than the rise of those services. Then he twists it. Worrying about short songs, he says, can plausibly be seen as an echo of earlier anxieties about the 3-minute pop single. Now, the bit that bothers me most, and it is in nobody's paper, it is just arithmetic. The 30-second threshold pays the same at 31 seconds as it does at 4 minutes. It does not reward a fast hook. It rewards not being skipped before second 30. A song with a 20-second intro clears that bar as easily as a song with no intro at all. Nothing in the rule pays you more for moving your chorus from second 25 to second 5. Everyone describes that threshold as a stopwatch on songwriting. It is a turnstile. Those are not the same machine. So if streaming did not do this, why does the complaint feel so completely true? Because it is old, much older than us. In the 1950s, Todd Storrs built the top 40 format, and his stations made what they called shorty tunes. Engineers sat there deliberately shaving precious seconds, sometimes over a minute, from a record. When a top 40 station received a record over 3 minutes in length, it went to the production room for choice edits. Not written short, cut short by a stranger after the fact. And radio was already tracking the exact thing people think Spotify invented. Every record in the library had an index card, and one field on it was how long you waited before the vocal came in. Time to voice was ordinary inventory data, decades before anybody streamed anything. Don't bore us, get to the chorus. That is in print in a Virginia newspaper in May 1980, and the writer calls it the old rule even then. Go back further. The New York Times, 1910, a piece titled How Popular Song Factories Manufacture a Hit. Songs, it says, are manufactured, advertised, and distributed in much the same manner as ordinary commodities. The Los Angeles Times in 1921 is blunter. American ragtime is now factory-made. Even the specific thing we blame streaming for, the huge chorus arriving early, was a craft by 1992, when Dennis Pop started Chiron in Stockholm. He learned it off Swedish dance floors in the 80s, 25 years before anybody could optimize for a payout threshold, and the sameness itself is contested. In 2015, a team analyzed about 17,000 Hot 100 recordings in Royal Society Open Science. Contrary to current theories of musical evolution, we find no evidence for the progressive homogenization of music in the charts. In their data, variety bottoms out around 1984 and climbs back. 1984, which most people remember as a good year for the charts. Now back to the man who measured the vanishing intro, because he tested his own idea and it failed. Study 2. He took the 60 most streamed songs of 2015 and paired each with the least streamed track from the same album by the same artist. Everything held still except how many people played it. If getting to the voice fast is what makes a hit, the hits should get there faster. They did not. The hits averaged 8.5 seconds before the voice. The tracks nobody streamed averaged 12.5. Right direction, statistically nothing. 2 of his 5 measures looked significant until he corrected for running 5 tests at once. Then none survived. He wrote it down himself. The data were not consistent with any of the hypotheses. Then he sat real people down with songs and let them skip whenever they felt like it. Every extra second of instrumental intro bought about an extra second of listening. Longer intro, longer listen. So what is actually left? Joe Bennett, who teaches musicology at Berkeley, gave a newspaper the version I keep coming back to. It is more akin to a Darwinist ecosystem, he said. The songs that become popular exhibit those characteristics. Some songwriters might still be cheerfully writing longer songs, but we are just not hearing them as much. Sit with that, because it is a different claim entirely. Nobody has to be writing to a rule. The rule can just be what survives. That is selection, not composition, and selection needs a different kind of evidence than the kind everyone keeps handing you. The threshold is real. The intros really did shrink. The story that joins them is the one part nobody has shown. So play the next song that comes on and count. If somebody is singing before 5 seconds, is that what somebody wrote? Or is that just what you kept?